what you say.
Yes, this is exactly what you think it is. I have for you today the complete overview of the student planning notebook from Megan at Schoolnest. I will also be comparing the two covers and letting you know what are the differences, but stick around with me. Grab your morning drink that has now become your afternoon drink, friends.
You look at me and see that I'm the type of girl you're not really that used to.
Welcome back, friends. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Arlene with Arlene & Company. I have Megan's newest and brightest, yes, it's the student planning notebook. We're gonna go complete overview of it. I'm gonna tell you there's two different covers. I'll tell you the slight differences between them. So if you're trying to decide which one is for you, you will know. In the description box below, you'll find the links, my affiliate links, to purchase either cover if this is your vibe. All right, so I want to start with the size difference because that always matters, right? So here is a student planner, and I obviously is way thinner than Miss Sage here, but here is the minimalist notebooks, right? And we'll just grab Mystic here for good measure. It is thinner than the minimalist, okay? So here, right here is the minimalist, and then this profile is a little bit thinner. So you can see the difference. So if you're trying to say, oh, is it gonna be too, like if it's the minimalist, it's too heavy for my kiddo or whatever, it's actually thinner. And if you missed any of my flip throughs and the one-on-one series that goes over every comparison of every single cover that she has for lesson planning notebooks, I'll link that down below as well, so you can take a look at that. This is a 12-month undated assignment planner. The profile is 8.5 by 11. This cover is called Wildscape. The other one, which I'm popping up here right now, is called Dreamland. The difference between them, interior, inside, is exactly the same layout. This one has stark white pages, like your Mystic lesson planner, and Dreamland has this cream color page that you find in Sage. The color right here, so you have like that stark white. That is what the Wildscape has. The Dreamland has this cream color page, so it kind of just like blends in with that color of the cover, and it just like flows in just like this one does, and just like my friend over here as well. All right, so think of it as those are the only difference. Those are the only differences, is the color of the pages and obviously the cover design. Everything else inside is exactly the same. Just pick whichever cover you like. You don't have to worry about the interior being any different. This is a perfect bound cover. This is 55-pound paper. I have done pen tests before, but we can do one at the end again with this one, so you can just see how that 55 paper performs. The cover is like this velvety type of cover, that soft bound that Amazon does, because this is printed via Amazon. It is not available as a PDF. It is printed on via Amazon. So here's the back of the cover. I really love this design. The other one obviously is more colorful. I look like, you know, just stick me with any kind of black in a cover and I'm game. So I really enjoy this design that she did with this. Flat is not meant, it's not built to lay flat, but I have always worked my aside from a couple of planners that I did cut the spine for you guys' benefit. You guys seen it around all over, especially Instagram, where people cut the spine and make it spiral bound or disc bound. Totally possible, but honestly, like here goes the beating. Just work it in, babes. Work it in. Just work it in, and it will lay pretty flat for you. So obviously this is the new book. So you really have to like work it in, but let's pretend you're all over here, right? You're like, eh. All right. And I've yet to break a spine. Like, I just work it. And then what's good about it is that she leaves a good margin right here in that inner bend, so that if your kiddo is writing, they are fine right here. It's not gonna be like, I'm trying to fit it in this corner. You're cool. All right, so let's go through what is included in this planner. All right, so you have 12-month mini calendar. You have attendance tracker, 2 blank schedules, book list, 12 undated monthly calendars, and okay, hang out with me, friends, because if you love the minimalist design, but you still feel like that's too much for you, I'm gonna tell you something. If you don't mind it saying student in the front, I wholeheartedly believe this can definitely be a teacher planner too, if you feel like that's your vibe. All right, so the 12-month monthly spreads are actually in between. So that is also a different thing, which I know some of you are not with all the months being in the front with the newer designs, and you like it in between. I'm more of, I want it in the front, but this one is not, so which makes it great for a student, so they're not flipping back and forth, they're all within the month. All right, and you have monthly note pages. You have 5 weeks per month, so you may obviously end up with some extras. Weekly assignment trackers, contacts, notes, and examples at the end. I think that was so awesome that she included the examples at the end. I think it would even be beneficial to adding examples on the lesson planner, because some people have a little bit of trouble visualizing if they've never really been a planner. So you have a blank page here. I feel like that page can be used in so many different ways. As you see mine, I like to make it like a cover type of thing, and this is it's gonna be like my scatter book / yearbook one. So I'm not really exactly using it as a planner, but that's the vibe I'm looking. Yes, I will do a flip through of this setup. I will. All right, so you have these 12 mini months here. You have an attendance tracker here. So if you want to grab one for like each of the kiddos, if that's your what you need to do, because you have to keep records, then each one will have their own attendance tracker. If you want to write their plans, this could really be some place where you put all the details for that particular child and open it up for them to see, and then they can check off day by day. Or if you have a kiddo that's like middle school and on, they should also be able to do this fairly independently or get into the habit and learn that skill. So you have 2 schedules. I like that because your schedule may change for semester. So maybe this is like the first semester and second semester, and maybe there's some tweaking. So I do like that she provided 2 schedules instead of 1, because rarely does your schedule stay the same the whole entire year. Ours does, but I know that's not true for other families that do different types of events. Then you have a series of book lists, and you have date, title, author, and then star rating. So here is just a very low prep type of space that they can go ahead and document the books they've read and give it a star rating without having to worry about writing more or anything like that. Again, this works perfectly also as a lesson planner. You're gonna see why I say this. All right, but obviously this is for the kids. We're not trying to steal it. All right, but here we go. Then you have your monthly spread. You have a bar here on the left with to add notes, and there is a grid part to that, if you can see. So you have solid boxes here, but then there's a grid in the background for your notes, which I really do like that. Then there's a line right here with a gray highlight, which just says month, so they can go ahead and prep this ahead of time. And this one is like just a little bit like cleaner, not as funsies. Let's see. No, you don't get to see it yet. So here is the difference between the calendars. You have like the little circles here. You have like the boxes. So if you like more of this type of functional look, then this is for you. All right, so here are your monthly notes example right now. So because I think that will make way more sense to you, that page. And here's the example. We'll look at the example as we go along. Here's an example of the monthly layout. If you were just keeping it straight minimalistic, your child is not going to be decorating or anything like that. If that's not their vibe, my kid will definitely be like the person to decorate and do 0 plans, but decorate. My oldest is who I'm talking about. But here is just like an example of what you could have it look like. And this is that page that you see for the monthly notes. So this bar right here, they're all blank for you. So you can designate whatever you like. So maybe for the week, and remember this is week specific, so you can write right here like books that they're going to be reading independently or what their read aloud is, and you can indicate that there, or your child is going to indicate that, especially like things like Oak Meadow where they have a lot of choice assignments. They are able to pick between 5 different assignments to accomplish their history, their social studies component, or to accomplish their English lesson, and there's multiple choices, they can go ahead and add these in this week of what their game plan is. So here, for example, they have spelling words. These lines here will help them, like, you know, just keep these in mind to refer back to. Best moments is another example that she had. My kid will probably do something different, like, you know, in that area. Then to do, memorize, if you do that type of thing, or journal. But again, this is just an example. These are all blank, so you can do whatever you want or whatever fits you. Maybe you're using this as a lesson planner because you like this layout better because it's more simplistic and less pages, even than the minimalistic. I got it. Anywho, but you can designate so many different ideas for this. Like maybe you have like your AM warm up, or maybe you have like your hot tickets that you want to accomplish this week. Maybe you have a loop schedule, maybe whatever you want to do. The possibilities are endless with these pages, and I like that it was undated. I mean, I like that it's not labeled, so you're free to make it whatever it needs to be. All right, so you see that, and then you have a dot grid towards the bottom. This I really dig. All right, so on here you'll see that it says subjects to the sidebar. So because I understand the design choice of her dating, they're not fully dated. They just say Monday through Sunday, well, with on the weekends having a share space. And then here, I love this because, you know, you can go ahead and circle, it's February the 7th. So you would, February 7th through the 10th is this week. And then you can highlight that that's the week that you're planning on here. And they're checking off their stack. I really like that it has this element and that it's already dated. Some may feel like, oh, I wanted to be able to like put the dates here, or not start Monday, start on a Tuesday, or whatever not. This is so easy to just go ahead and take a little whiteout and change it up if you like. However, for a student that is learning how to plan and to be accountable for their work, I feel like this is great as a student planner because it takes some of the work away from them from being an undated planner. Because an undated planner can be a little overwhelming, especially for a kiddo that has never planned or is not very good at it. So to have these things already pre-done, like, oh, okay, here we go, we'll plot Monday, we'll plot Tuesday. So let's say you just don't do that traditional week. It's very easy to just like white, it's such a small little line that you can white it out and redate those. But I do like that being on there for a student. You have the boxes of Monday through Sunday, so you can put maybe the weekly chores, maybe something else that they have going on, or some habits if you don't want to do chores, best moment of the week. And then this bar right here is for additional notes. Maybe you're planning forward or whatever it may look like. This again is easily translated as a lesson planner. I'm going to keep saying that because I think it's like if you've still been like trying to figure things out and you say, oh, well, the minimalistic is cool and all, but it's still too much for me, this may be it for you. But as a student planner, I do appreciate that some of the work has been taken away from them with an undated planner. So I really like that. And you have the boxes off to the side where you can go ahead and check off as things are completed, or your child checks them off. So you see the entire month, and then you go into your next monthly spread, right? So you have this, then you have your weekly note pages, and again with all the weekly assignments and stuff like that. So now let's skip, that just repeats itself, friends. All right, 12 months worth. Okay, so let's go towards the end to show you what is in the back of the book. So we have contacts pages. Maybe your kiddos in co-op, sports, and all that stuff. So they would have this information that they can track here. I'll tell you right now, this is a spread that I would never use. It would be something that I would tape something over, but it's helpful for a lot of families. So here you have name, address, email, and phone numbers. So again, they can get into the habit of like knowing all this information themselves as well. Again, I have never used contact pages in any planner, any brand or anything. I just don't use it. So my kiddo would never use it either. either of them. But I like that it's here. You have a few pages, because when there's a page that I don't need, that automatically gives me guilt-free reason to tape something over it. Like I remember Tanya from Project Happy Home mentioning this, when it's like a good thing for us. When there's a page that is not related to us, we can easily just translate it, and it gives us permission to be like, I can tape something over you, and then it's all good. You don't feel like you're taking away from another page. So you have some grid note pages in the back, and you have a few of those, and then you have the examples. So of your kiddo, you're turning this over, maybe you're starting off with them, so to give them the little intro, or maybe they've already been planning for a few years. They can relate to these different examples, which helps them be a great little planner. So here it is. So she has them here circled. I know my oldest would most likely, she would circle this or highlight this, and then she would either take one of her stock mark crayons or lyre pencils, and she would highlight it, or she would take a highlighter and highlight that all the way through. But here you see like daily tasks, reading, typing practice, violin. So here, for example, we have piano, Hebrew practice, and all that stuff. We would put that stuff in there. And then here she has like results from different grades and things like that, especially if you keep track of it. Maybe they want to keep track of that, or some different assignment. But this gives you an idea of how you would set this up, or they would set it up if you're not the one doing it for them. And then at the end, it's just her thank you note, a blank page, and the back of the cover. So let's do a bit of a pen test for your benefit. Use the very same sample pages for the fun of it. Just wanted to show you, because this is the Super Furby Lyra pencils. My daughter especially, this is who I have in mind for this, but I know she does not keep a planner well. So go ahead and do this. I would have to write out her daily tasks and plans, and then have her check it off, and she would probably doodle all over this, and it's totally fine, but at least it gives her some accountability to be able to read what her daily tasks are, even though we also use Google Classroom, but something physical for her also works really, really well. But if you're trying to like decorate these pages and color, it's such a beautiful, we've been using these pencils, especially like the Waldorf selection, since the beginning of time, because we've been Waldorf inspired. I know we have like our own thing, but I just wanted to show you how beautiful these color pencils look on these pages, and you'll see it as I show you more of the setup for this planner and give you some ideas if you care, like maybe you're like, All right, this is, I pick out pens and markers with very heavy pigmentation, and like a variety of them, just so you can see what it can handle and what it cannot. So I'm already familiar with this paper. It's the same paper with the lesson planning, bit of a tooth to it. So it's not smooth, which I like, I appreciate, but it does do fairly well. Definitely don't do the Sharpie. I did that for fun and giggles the last time. This is an Erin Condren, one of their traditional markers, and we'll just line it right here, and let's see right away. And I know I like pressed down at the end, so if you can see, there is no bleed through, but that little last dot, you can see it very so slightly, so there is going to be a little bit of ghosting if you have a little bit of a heavy hand. But let's see, let's just write hello. That's always what I write. I don't know why I don't get something more creative, but here you go. You see that? You can't really see any ghosting with that. There's no bleed through, and there is no feathering. So that's an easy marker. However, I would use this with caution, because if you have a heavier hand, you're gonna start seeing some ghosting. I don't mind ghosting. I'm a Tomoe River type of paper gal. We use Hobonichi a lot, so to me it's totally fine. All right, so this is one of their fine tip markers. So just for a different take, since this is not gonna go on as heavy, just so you can see. Again, this can be translated into other different types of pen. What am I? More go. All right. So here again, you can see 0 with the fine tip. So the tip also matters. So if you have a chubbier tip, it's gonna have a greater chance of it ghosting and things like that. So you can't see the hello at all, but let's try to press in a little bit heavier hand and see if you see it now. And again, I can see if holding it up to the light, my end points on the point right there, that you have a little bit of ghosting, but again, it's not really a bleed through. So just caution with markers. If you have a heavier hand, I would advise against them. However, I use markers and things like that all the time. I tend not to have a heavy hand. This is your typical mile liner that most family uses all over their planners. I use it all the time without worries. So, and that is a dark color. I chose a dark color on purpose. So again, you can visualize its limits and possibilities. All right, so that is that one. Look how dark that is. What color is that? It's pretty though. Hello, zebra. Tell me what color you are. It just says red. Really? That's not red. All right, so here is where I highlight it. So if you're gonna use a lot of highlighter, you are gonna see a tad bit of ghosting on your following page, but not so much that it hinders whatever you're writing and that it makes it unreadable. And I did use a heavier hand. So you see a little bit of ghosting, but there is no bleed through. One that I outlined, again, there's a little bit of ghosting, and I'm shining a light right directly at this to make it very nice and obvious for you. But as you can see, that still looks really good on the page, and it's very minimal that you see here. And let's see, because this, you would lay it down here. So you're gonna see with a, maybe if you use a mile liner, don't use the darker colors if you don't like that ghosting look. I like a worn in journal looks, and my kid does as well, so she doesn't mind it. This is one of my most used type of pens. These have different points to them, but this does fairly well in this paper, and you can see there is no brush through or anything like that. And there is, it's right here, but there's no ghosting, no nothing, there's no bleed through. So if you're a micron user, this is definitely a good place to use it. So we're good. And I love like that I can pick different point size. Now this is one of the Focus pens. I use this all the time, even on my Hobonichis. And to me, I just love these pens. This one is a new one that I went ahead and grabbed, but it's a little, has more of that ballpoint feel to it, but it's just kind of a little bit more. And again, it doesn't smear, none of that, and there's nothing that we can see on the next. I am going to write, let's see, let's highlight, so you can just see the difference in the paper. It's not like a big, huge difference. So I want to show you the difference in colors on here, just so you can see. This is the cream paper that's going to come in Dreamland, and this is the stark white that comes in the Wildscape. So just so you can be reminded of the difference, and this has a fine point on the other end, by the way. Look, I'm sacrificing this page for you guys. Don't you like appreciate that? All right, so check that out there. The cream paper will show a little tad more, a tad bit more of ghosting here in this situation. You see that hello again. I did that with a heavier hand. These are markers. With the pen, you're not really gonna see a difference. You can see that the hello, you couldn't see it really at all, unless I'm like shining a light right at it. But this is the difference between the cream paper of how much shadowing you're gonna, or how much ghosting you're gonna see, versus the white paper that has a little bit less. So so if you're trying to decide between if that matters to you, again, for a student planner, they're probably not gonna care unless you have a kiddo like mine that's an artist. Then they will have a very specific preference. But if your decision is based on what the cream paper looks like versus the white, there you have a pen test with both colors, with dark color utensils, except for, well, this is dark too. All right, so that is it for you, my friends. This is now available now, the student planning notebook. You can see the link down below. If this video was helpful to you, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I appreciate every share. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, friends. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Born to roam, off you go. I think it's time to go.